Catherine had her first birth at NUH, and then she had her second birth at the birth house. You wanna share a bit of your experiences?
Okay. So this is Anthony, and he was born 3.5 years ago at NUH. And this is Violette, and she was born 7 weeks ago upstairs. Okay, upstairs. For me, I had planned to have natural birth from the beginning, even for Anthony. And but for some reason, I thought I was prepared, and apparently I wasn't prepared enough for my first birth, so I ended up having a epidural. And among other things, I had a lot of back pain during my first labor. And so when I got pregnant with Violette, I decided that, okay, I also want a natural birth. And I'm going to prepare myself differently. So somehow I got to know Jeannie, and I went to see her because I thought that, the doula might be an option that may help me get through this part of labor. The first time I also had support. I had the Emma Care, the service from the Emma Care team at NUH. These are midwives that stay with you, and this is some form of personalized care also. So I thought, it was good, but maybe a doula may know something, and Jeannie being, having so much experience, I thought maybe she knows something that other people don't know, and that can help me through the fact that I anticipated to have, a lot of this, which to me was the main obstacle of having a natural birth the first time. So I met her, and then we joined the prenatal class. And initially, I didn't plan to give birth here because, first of all, I only found out about this place, it was in January, and they were just about to open, and I felt like, I have a good relationship with my doctor. I don't want to change doctor. This is a lot of work and all that. So, initially I brushed off the idea, but then we came here every Saturday for a month or two for classes, and I said, wow, this place is really nice, and I don't want to have a home birth because it doesn't fit our family and our place, but I would like, there's a good vibe here, and I felt like this is something I would like to try. So I approached Jeannie, and I think I was 36 weeks pregnant. I said, okay, so what do I need to do to give birth here? She said, well, you better hurry up because baby is coming soon. So she had me get an appointment with Dr. Lai, and very quickly we did all the tests and all this. I think we got to go to give birth here at 38 weeks. Mm-hmm. So lucky she was not early. I talked to my doctor at NUH, and she was very supportive. I told her I want to have a home birth, I'm going to go with Dr. Lai, and she said, well, I don't do home birth, and so all the best. And so we shifted, and then we came here. So the labor and birth were very different. I don't want to say one experience was better than the other, because both experiences had their good and bad, dimensions. But giving birth here was definitely a new and very different experience. So labor was much shorter than the first time. It was, and in the end, the last part was, to me, like Fast and Furious. That was my experience. Basically, I had contraction the whole day, starting from lunchtime. It was on Friday, on Good Friday. And we were expecting it because our due date was passed already. So it was very slow the whole day. We spent the whole day at home playing puzzles and watching TV and doing nothing much, just waiting for things to get moving. And then we went to. Then it was like around 8 or 9. We said, okay, baby's gonna come, and we don't know when. So we're gonna go to bed and sleep, and maybe during the night, things will happen. So we told Anthony, we will probably leave tonight, but we don't know when. So let's all go to sleep. And then at 10 o'clock at night, he fell asleep, and like 5 minutes later, I started crying, and my water broke. I started having all these sad thoughts and all this. That didn't last very long because my water broke, and then from then on we went from one contraction every 20 minutes to one every 2 to 3 minutes. And I guess that's the fast and furious part. It was really very intense very quickly. So by 10:30 we arrived here, and she was born at midnight. So we spent 2 hours upstairs, and I thought it was very overwhelming. But in the end, it all went well. She was born in the water. It was a water birth, and I caught her, and you pick up your baby and you hold her, and this is something that is a very magical moment. And so what I appreciate also is that all these things all these were wishes that I had, and then Jeannie brought everything down very carefully, and everything was respected. And even though things go really fast and you tend to forget all the details, but all these details were respected, and we had the birth that we wanted. So yeah, great experience. And then after that, actually that's not the best part. The best part is what comes after, is when you're up there and then Jeannie is there to care for you, like a mom, and she comes. There was one night I had baby blues. I was crying, and I was alone because Andy stayed home. I mean, he came during the day, but at night he went back home to be with Anthony. So there was this one night I remember, and she took my baby. She said, "I'm going to keep her with me for a few hours, and then so you can sleep." And then she came back 2 hours later. She said, "Did you sleep?" I said, "No, I cried for the whole time." And so she stayed with me for 2 hours, talking and chatting, trying to distract me from my hormones, all the things that happened after birth. So I'm very grateful for that, because that you don't get in the hospital, that's for sure.
Women stop.
Yeah, no nurse is going to spend 2 hours with you. I mean, they're just too busy, and they have other things to do too, So yeah, great experience and excellent memories of the experience.
And did you have anything to share as a dad, your experience?
Having been through the course, I was quite stressed out, because it seems like the husband needs to know everything and all the at least 7 or 9 moves that you have to remember. But at the actual birth, it actually was a lot easier. It was probably, I only did 1 or 2.
And it worked.
And just so I think it's good to get a little stressed and try to learn all the different scenarios, but when it happens, I'm glad there's a support team here, and it actually went a lot easier than I had planned.
Yeah, you were great, very hands-on. Yeah. Any questions you want to ask?
How long did you end up staying here?
Including the night where she was born, we stayed 3 nights.
Okay.
So we arrived on the Friday night and we left on the Monday morning.
Okay.
It's very easy. It's really up to the parents. The main thing is they go home when they're ready. And interestingly, we do expect parents to come, give birth, and then just go home. But so far, nobody wants to do that yet. So maybe that's a good thing. Yeah. So it's just different for everyone. But whatever it takes for them to feel ready to go home. Yeah, because we want them to go home when they're ready, when they feel empowered to kind of know what to do and that they can cope. Okay. And very family friendly. So like in the sense where like if they wanted the option to have Anthony actually witness the birth, that would have been a possible option. But different mothers would feel differently about that. So it's again very personal. Yeah. Any other questions?
Which gynae were you staying in?
You had the same gynae.
Yeah, same gynae, Mary Roth.
Mary Roth, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I only have positive things to say about her.
She's wonderful.
And even at the end, when I told her I was changing doctors, she was very understanding.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
Yeah, she gave me like a copy of all my records and everything. So
Okay, so the first one you had it at anyway.
Yes.
The second one you had it there. And then you had doula on both.
So
in a
the
way,
first time
right?
I had Emma Care. So these are not doulas; they are midwives. I think the difference is that when you hire a doula, it's more or less likely to be the same one, the one that you've met, and then she will stay with you throughout the whole labor. Emma Care, I think they work in shift. So when we did it with Anthony, there were 4 in the team. We had met, I think, all of them before, and then we had 2 different Emma Care midwives during labor, because there was a time where they were changing shift. And then after that, we had the other member of the team who came and visited us.
Okay, so probably the major difference, other than the personalized experience, was the fact that you felt more at home over here as compared.
Yes.
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 It's also sometimes at the hospitals, I mean, it's not, the nurses are just doing their jobs, but they have protocols that they have to follow. So even though we do have protocols as well, like fetal monitoring and everything, it's where we kind of take the time, wait for the mother to settle, let her settle in, rather than, no, that's the first thing you have to do and all that kind of stuff at her own pace. So it's all very friendly and accommodating that way, and to a certain degree respectful. Yeah.
But I want to say, I mean, my first experience with Anthony, I didn't feel that they were intruding or pushing on anything. What I liked about Emma Care was that you don't, there's only the midwife from the team that stays with you. You don't have the nurses coming in. I mean, labor was long and was not progressing, and so the doctor was suggesting, you know, interventions, and I refused, and they didn't push until, I mean, it's only when the doctor came at the end of the night that things, you know, she like, my water wasn't breaking. They wanted me to break my water, and I didn't want until I had epidural, because I was exhausted and I felt like if they break my water, contractions are going to come fast, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And I mean, there were some other things that made me, I felt very limited in what I could and like cope with. So I kept saying, no, you're not going to break my water until you give me the epidural, which took another 4 or 5 hours to get because of some other things. But I appreciate also that they didn't push hard. They just asked me, I said no, and they said, okay, fine, you know. So that's why I say my experience at NUH wasn't a bad one. It was, I felt like you know, they respected my choices, and the midwife was very respectful. But one thing I remember about that experience, I felt like I was cold the whole time, and I think because the aircon, the AC is on and all this, and I felt I had no control over that. And I thought, hey, maybe here I won't be so cold. I don't know, you know, these are the things that you remember after. So that's why also, I don't know, it's just a memory.
Yeah.
And I went to do the water. I also tried for water burst, but it wasn't for, I mean, they let me go into the water and I was cold, and then I started shivering, and then a lot of things that also color your memory of the experience, and somehow that, you know, I felt like trying something different will maybe give me a different memory of it.
Having had an epidural before and then now having a drug-free birth, did you feel postnatally that there was a difference as a mother, as a person, as a woman?
Yes, but I don't know if it's the epidural that makes a difference. I mean, I cannot say for sure, but I felt the recovery for Violette was so fast. Like 2 days later, I just felt like, you know, okay, starting planning for my day. I mean, also it helped that she was a very different baby from Anthony at birth, and I don't know again if this epidural that makes a difference. For one, she started sleeping during the night from the beginning, whereas for him we were up until 4 o'clock in the morning for 5 weeks. So of course that changed everything. But what I remember is for Anthony, I felt like my body was totally so much pain for several days, even maybe a couple of weeks. Whereas for her, very quickly I was, you know, ready to go.
And when you feel like you can manage, it lessens postnatal depression. To a certain degree, getting blues is quite normal, but when breastfeeding is going smooth, recovery is smooth, you find that everything seems brighter despite the blues, versus if you didn't have, you know, felt traumatized from the birth, and then breastfeeding is difficult, then it just gets worse. Okay.
Yes, yeah, that's true. So breastfeeding the first time was much harder, but again, I
Different
can't tell if
situation,
the second time is because of natural birth or because I did it before. Well, and again, the baby was different. I mean, clearly it's a different baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's that. I mean, you see it very
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah. Any questions that you would like to ask? All right, thank you.
Thank you.